Good morning, beloveds. It's quiet in the house. It's quiet in the neighborhood. Uh, so I lost track of time. I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning when my husband left for the grocery store. Don't ask me why he likes to go to the grocery store at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, other than it's not busy. And I made the mistake of laying there for another minute, and then suddenly he's going, "Hey, it's 8:30, are you going to get up?" Because the neighborhood is silent, the house is quiet, the cats are not all up in a... So, yeah. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and it's quiet, and according to the temperature, it's cold out there, which is probably why the neighborhood is quiet too. We all need days like that. We all need days that are slow starting, where you can linger over your coffee or whatever it is that you drink in the morning. And just kind of take it in and rest. Because I know none of us do enough of that. And rest is a good thing. That rest is when we rebuild and we recharge and we get ready for the next challenge, adventure, whatever it is that you want to call it. So today is December 6th. Our title is, I Stand on the Mountaintop of My Soul and Cause My Spiritual Vision to Encompass More. For as he thinketh in his heart, so he is. And that is Proverbs 23:7. As far as mind extends, so far does heaven. And that's from the Upanishads. My soul hath built for me a habitation. And that is from the Book of the Dead. Note that Proverbs does not say that we are as we think we are, quite the contrary. It says that we are as we think. Here is a vast difference. We might imagine ourselves to be very clever while remaining quite dull. But if our thoughts are brilliant, we also will be brilliant. As we think in our heart, so we are. The heart stands for the center of consciousness, the point from which everything that we are circulates. It is said that Moses was led by the divine spirit into the high mountain and told that all the land that his vision could encompass, his feet would tread upon. This high mountain stands for the exalted place in consciousness. As consciousness extends its vision, it extends the possibility of its objective experience. This means that objectively we possess that which subjectively we encompass. Our soul is always building a habitation for us because consciousness is forever dealing with first cause, with the causeless cause, with that which plays with the cause and effect as children play with a ball. Emerson tells us to stay at home with the cause, to build a habitation and therein to dwell. It is wonderful to realize that our true home is not made with the hands, but is eternal in the heavens. Today, I stand on the mountaintop of my soul and cause my spiritual vision to encompass more. I will push out the horizons of my previous experiences in order that I may have more room. My soul will look out and see that all is well. I am filled with peace, with joy, and with contentment. Well, that was certainly true this morning. Okay. So we're going to get very not literal today. I stand on the mountaintop of my soul and cause my spiritual vision to encompass more. Okay. For as he thinketh in his heart, so he is. Ernest deals with that, so I don't have to deal with that. As far as the mind extends, so far extends the heaven. If you haven't read the Upanishads, it's not a big book. It's pretty small. And when I was in school, I took a class on the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. And it's fascinating and interesting. And the Hindu have a really intriguing way of looking at the divine. Whatever you think about what they think, in truth, what they believe is there's one. But that we're too small to be able to deal with the one. So the one breaks itself down into smaller bits to interact with us. So while they have lots of gods and goddesses and demons, what have you, they really only have one. But they understand that the one is infinite and is too much to be encompassed by us. And the one understands that it is too infinite, and to deal with its creations, it makes itself small. It's like, it makes itself small to interact with us. It is a gift of love from the infinite to make itself small enough to interact with us in these various forms. I mean, that's a gift of love. My soul hath built for me a habitation. And that is from the Book of the Dead. And I'm wondering, several cultures have a Book of the Dead. It's probably from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, but I'm not sure. And again, Ernest deals with that too, so. Note that the proverb does not say that we are what we think we are. Quite the contrary. It says we are what we think. Here is a vast difference. We might imagine ourselves to be very clever while remaining quite dull. But if our thoughts are brilliant, we will also be brilliant. That goes back to what you think when you're alone versus what you think when you're with people. It goes back to your first reaction and your second reaction. One of the things that Jesse says is that our first response, our first reaction to anything is culturally taught. It's been taught. It's been conditioned. That's the word I want. It's been conditioned by culture, society, religion, our gender, all of that. Because we've been told by our gender, then we're supposed to respond in a certain way. And people don't know what to do with us when we respond in a way that is not culturally sanctioned. They really don't. They're just like, that's not what you're supposed to. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to live up to your expectations. I'm going to go beyond your expectations. Your second response, your second thought, that's who you really are. So, what is your second response? Is it life-affirming, creative, or is it negative or helpless? Or because that's who you are. Now, here's the good news. If that's who you are, you can change. And if your second thought is aggrandizement and that doesn't make you happy, here's the good news. You can change. Because the goal here is to come from a place of spirit, to come from a place of heart, to come from a place of whole, to climb that mountain and to look out that mountain and see the glory of the infinite around you. And to come from that. We might imagine, as we think in our hearts, so we are. So who are you in those quiet moments? The heart stands for the center of consciousness, the point from which everything that we are circulates. And I mean, literally, that's the heart's job, is to circulate. And if it's the center of consciousness, then Jesse would also say that it is the place where nothing has ever been wrong. It's the place that never stops, that keeps going no matter what's going on around you. But it's also that place that you can go when everything around you seems to have fallen apart. So you go there. You go to the center of your consciousness and you sit there and you soak in that peace. And you soak in that love and you soak in that comfort. And you soak in that glory. And then you bring that back out and circulate that into the world. You allow that peace from that central place to circulate into all of the parts of you, including the intellect. Because the intellect can get us in so much trouble. It's like anytime you go anywhere where the heart leads, you want to take your intellect along. And anytime you go anywhere where the intellect leads, you definitely want to take your heart along. It's the balance of the two of those that will get you the furthest in the life. It is said that Moses was led by the divine spirit into a high mountain and told that all of the land his vision could accomplish his feet would tread upon. This high mountain stands for an exalted place in consciousness. As consciousness extends its vision, it extends the possibility of its objective experience. I made a joke about I made a comment about the infinite making itself small for us. But the infinite does not want us to make ourselves small for it. What the infinite wants for us is to up-level. It wants us to climb the mountain. It wants us to look further. It wants us to dream further. It wants us to do further. It wants us to grow into that infinite part of ourselves. The climb isn't hard, but that's the cultural we, have made it obscure. We have packed it on with layers of religion and culture and society and nonsense. And the infinite's going, no, it's not that. You are so much more than you think you are. Come to the mountain and see. And if you will not come to the mountain will come to you. This means that objectively we possess that which subjectively we encompass. When we talk about objective and subjective, we're getting into psychological terms. Whatever we think we can have, we can have. Whatever we think we can't have, we can't have. That's our experience. So if you want something, you gotta believe that you can have it. You gotta be willing to climb that mountain and say, yes, that's for me. That's what I want. Our soul is always building a habitation for us because consciousness is forever dealing with first cause, with the causeless cause, with that which plays with cause and effect as children play with bulbs. And that whole sentence just makes me want to go, what? But our soul is always building a habitation for us. Our soul will build us the habitation that we desire. But the question is it building us the habitation that we're worthy of? Because we live in the kingdom of God. Does our habitation reflect that we live in the kingdom of God? And frequently the answer is no, because we've gotten away from primary cause. We've gotten away from who we are. We've gotten away from the infinite. And we keep living small when the infinite keeps going, come to me. And we keep going, but I'm not worthy. And the infinite goes, what are you talking about? Come to me. And it finds beautiful and wonderful ways to show us this, with the beauty around us and the loving people around us. And we keep going, but I'm not worthy. And our habitation reflects that. And it's like, come back and find that infinite part of you. Find that mountain, climb that mountain, and engage with the infinite and see that you're so much bigger than you think you are. And then act on that. Emerson tells us to stay at home with the cause, to build a habitation and therein dwell. Come to the infinite. See the possibilities. See the kingdom of God around you. And then build that habitation that reflects that. Take the beauty that you are and the beauty that you see around you and reflect that the infinite part of you is made of an infinite love. And allow that love to flow through you. But more importantly, allow that love to flow in you. So that you become the house of peace for yourself. And stay at home in that peace. And then when you go out into the world, then you are taking the house of the infinite with you. You are taking the love with you. You're not dimming your light for the world, because the infinite only dims the light until you get used to it. And then the infinite brightens the light. And so as the infinite brightens the light for you, then you do that for the world. Turn your light up. Don't hide it under a bushel basket. It is wonderful to realize that our true home is not made with hands, but is eternal in heaven. So, our statement of fact today, our affirmation. Today, we stand on the mountaintop of our soul and cause our spiritual vision to encompass more. We will push out the horizons of our previous experiences in order that we may have more room. Please don't live small. Our soul will look out and see that all is well, because we are standing on the mountaintop of the infinite and seeing that the long arc trends towards creation, trends towards love, trends towards justice. The small, material, mortal, it will get better. Because we are all going to turn our lights up. We are filled with peace, with joy, and with contentment. So our mission, should we choose to accept it today, is to climb that mountain. To look out over the infinite and understand that we are more. To carry our head and our heart, our intellect and our feeling, and let them stretch out into that love. And to know. To know that we are loved, to know that we are at peace, to know that we are content, and to know that we live in a house that is so beyond anything that we could imagine. Because the infinite cares. All right. I'm going to get ready for the rest of my day, which includes a live stream right here at 11 a.m. So I'm going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like to you. I always encourage you to do something that engages your mind and your body, but I'm also going to tell you to rest. And Sunday is a day of rest for that. Occasionally, it's good to take a break and let it rest. Let your mind rest, let your body rest, let your heart rest. But when you let it rest in the infinite. Let it rest in that love, let it rest in that peace, let it rest in that contentment. Let it rest in the house of spirit. And you will come out far more refreshed. So, know that you are a beloved child of God in whom Spirit is well pleased, always and forever. That is the state of grace that we live in. So open the windows of your soul. Look out across that mountaintop and see the infinite stretching before you in all of its glory. And allow that breath of heaven to remind you that that's where you live now. And always. So, we will be back with our service at 11 for you. Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. and I will be back with you at 9 a.m. Have a wonderful day, beloveds.